Let's talk Justin Fields' zone read plays. And namely, let's talk about why when Justin Fields checks into the game, teams are not immediately keying in on a potential zone read concept. We'll start by looking at the end of the Steelers-Bengals game. This is the fourth quarter. The Steelers have the ball on the Bengals' 40-yard line with 1:54 to go in the game, and the Bengals have no timeouts. A first down here ices it. And the Steelers trot on Justin Fields at quarterback. He's only played one other snap in this game. This is the second time he's entering the game here on a key 3rd and 4. The Bengals are loaded up in the box. They've got 8 box defenders here, and their slot guys are essentially box adjacent. So nobody deep. They're really looking, and it's in response to this big package from the Steelers, right? The Steelers have 2 wide receivers, but they've got 2 tight ends in the game. They're in 12 personnel, 1 running back and 2 tight ends. And the Bengals are looking at a run, which makes sense with Fields in the game. The Steelers are going to run the zone read, and if you'll remember, the basic idea of the zone read is to have an unblocked edge defender that is the read guy for the quarterback. So they're going to have a run action this way, and Justin Fields is going to look at the unblocked defender, which the edge guy this time is this defensive back over here. And the basic calculation that Fields is trying to make is, can I beat this guy to the edge, right? A lot of times that unblocked defender is a defensive end, but the idea is the same, right? You're looking at the unblocked guy and saying, can I get around that guy? Can I beat his contain? If I can beat his contain, I keep the ball. If I can't, I hand it off. We know that Justin Fields is one of the fastest quarterbacks in the league, right? Probably second to Lamar Jackson. So you would imagine that the worst case scenario on this 3rd and 4 is letting Justin Fields beat contain and get outside. He's almost assured of getting a first down in that situation. Well, let's see what the Bengals do. The Steelers start. And here's Fields, and you can see him reading. You see where Fields' eyes are. And this corner is already losing width, right? He's starting to come inside. He's losing width, and Fields at this point, when he has the chance to hand it, is like he sees the corner coming inside, losing width, and thinks, I can beat this guy to the edge. And he's right. He fakes the handoff here, plants his foot, gets outside, and that's an easy first down, and the Steelers ice this game. That's it. We can see it here from the end zone view. But again, if you're looking, it's 28 that we're talking about here. And look how he's coming in already. He's angling into the formation as Fields is faking the handoff. Like at this point, you're gone. Justin Fields is too fast. Your momentum is in the wrong direction. There isn't any attempt here to maintain contain. You know, if he is like, because you also want to think about it from the standpoint of, if Justin Fields hands this ball off, what's the likelihood that he's making the tackle? Like, sure, there's a possibility of a cutback and he makes the tackle. But do you lose the chance of handling the cutback if you stay out a little wider to maintain contain? You are the one person in this game that could stop a Justin Fields run. And the Bengals are not prepared to tell that person, you know, you're the edge guy. You can't let him beat you outside. And that's so surprising to me because this is something the Steelers have been doing with Justin Fields. And he doesn't play that many snaps. When he gets on the field, they're always a risk to run this play, especially on a down where they want to run the ball. It's 3rd and 4. There's 1:54. Even if they don't get the first down, Tomlin is likely to run this because he wants the clock to keep moving. So what is the best chance of a more explosive play that could gain more yardage that would still keep the clock running? It's a quarterback run with Justin Fields. But in this case, the Bengals don't seem prepared for it. They are not coached up over here to contain. He crashes in. Fields gets the first down. Game over. Steelers win. All right, so the Bengals weren't ready for the zone read in that situation. It happens, right? There are certain things that teams aren't prepared for. Why would they expect a zone read? Well, let's go back to the week before. This is the Steelers-Browns game that happened on Thursday Night Football in the middle of a snowstorm. So at this point, we're at 11:32 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Steelers are down 18-6. They have a 2nd and 6, and they are on about their own 35-yard line. The Steelers' offense has been pretty poor to this point. They've had turnovers, but also just stalling in the red zone early in the game, and then later just having trouble moving the ball. They're really struggling with the Browns' defensive line. So they bring in Justin Fields to get a spark. Now, to this point, Justin Fields has played 1 snap, and he took the ball on a run. Now, this plays a little bit different from what we showed you from the Bengals game, and mainly because this, though it's in a zone read kind of concept here, this appears to be a designed quarterback keeper. This is a situation where I don't think Justin Fields was ever handing this ball off. And the reason why I think that is if you look at the blocking from the right tackle here, he's kind of down blocking. So to try to seal off a lane over here. And then you've got Connor Hayward coming out and lead blocking to try to get Fields to the edge. But they're still an unblocked guy, the defensive end, and he still crashes in really hard against the run instead of containing the quarterback. But Ajay, you said that Connor Hayward was here as a lead blocker, so why does it matter? Well, if the defensive end stays to contain, Hayward has to come out and block him. If Hayward blocks him, he's not available to block the edge defender over here. So this run gets mitigated, if this guy, who unfortunately he also lost contain, so not just the defensive end, but Denzel Ward out here lost contain too. At least Ward can try to run him down and maybe limit this, At the very least, he tries to get an angle toward the sideline and they can stop him for an 8-yard gain, 9-yard gain, something. But instead, Ward gets blocked by Hayward, and unfortunately, he gets blocked into another defender, allowing Fields to escape down the sideline. He gets a gain of 30 yards. So again, we're in a situation where Fields has been in the game once. He ran the ball. This is his 2nd time in the game. We're going to like a zone read concept. The most dangerous thing that can happen to you on this play is Fields getting out into the open field. Yet there's no effort by the edge defender to contain. And even the overhang over here doesn't try to contain. He gets cut inside, and they both lose him. He ends up getting around both of them, and then a nice block from Hayward helps spring him for even more of a gain. But it's just baffling to me that teams are not thinking that this is what's going to happen when they run a zone read concept here. I mean, and like I said, this looks more like a design keeper, but whenever they're faking this even zone read action, the thing that you'd want to protect against as this guy is Fields keeping it. If you go out and deter him, you can at least get in the way of Connor Hayward and start to limit the effectiveness of this play. But instead, and if Ward too is not so far inside that Hayward's able to get out and get to the edge, he might be able to limit the amount that Fields, like if Ward is able to get to the outside shoulder of Hayward, he might be able to force Fields back inside where he's got pursuit. But the Browns don't seem prepared for this eventuality, which doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you not expect that this is probably the most likely thing that would happen? So this has already happened in the Browns game, and the Bengals still weren't ready for it in the clip we just showed you before. Then you say, well, but didn't Fields play other snaps later in this Browns game? Maybe he did other things. Well, he was on the field for 5 running plays. Of those, 3 of them he ran the ball. The other 2 were handoffs. And those 2 handoffs resulted in a total of 5 yards. So it's not like there were explosive running back runs. And you'll probably note that one of those was a 3-yard touchdown. So, that was a pretty impactful running back run. But the end crashed down on the zone read concept anyway. So it's not like they gave up the touchdown run because they were protecting against Fields. They still were not protecting against the Fields scramble. On that touchdown run, Fields probably could have kept it for a touchdown too. So again, teams don't seem to be respecting the Fields zone read concept, and it cost the Browns big on this play, and it also cost the Bengals big, essentially on the play that sealed the game. They allowed Fields to get a first down. All right, so you might say, okay, Ajay, fine. Justin Fields had an explosive run out of a similar concept against the Browns, but they were down 18-6. Different game situation early in the fourth quarter. Why would the Bengals necessarily look at that play as a read of what Justin Fields was going to do on a play to ice the game against the Bengals? And to that I would say, well, it seems like he runs a lot of zone reads whenever he's in the game, and he's most dangerous when he keeps the ball. But fine, let's say, okay, maybe the Browns aren't going to scout what happened early in the fourth quarter of a game the Steelers are down 2 possessions. Well, let's go back one more week. This is the Steelers-Ravens game in Pittsburgh, and the Steelers are up 18-16. They have a 2nd and 10, and there's 1:02 on the clock. Again, a first down essentially ices the game here. Well, they bring in Justin Fields, who to this point has only been on the field for 1 snap, and that snap, he ran the ball. Well, what are the Steelers going to do in this situation? Well, looks like a zone read concept. And this time, the unblocked defender is over here. And look at the inside. Look at the width given up by the end here to allow Fields to get around. Now, again, this is a concept that looks like it's set up more to be a run because they have Darnell Washington coming out and helping to lead block. And again, you get the down block over here. So this looks a lot like the Browns play, which again, tough that the Browns weren't ready for that. And Fields again gets outside, and look, the overhang defender, just like we talked about with the Browns, he doesn't keep his width either when his guy's down blocking. So Fields is able to get outside. Washington is able to go and block here, and Fields again is on the loose. Unfortunately for Fields, he slides early here, so he doesn't get the first down. He would have iced the game with the first down. They ended up getting it on a 1-yard run and icing the game anyway. But again, we're looking at an end-of-game situation. First down ices the game. They bring Justin Fields into the game. What do? They get him to the edge. I just don't understand why the Bengals weren't ready for this. And I don't understand why time and time again defenders are giving up width, and letting Justin Fields get to the outside when that's what you're really worried about. This is 2nd and 10. Give up a 3-yard run. Who cares? I feel like the one thing I would want is make sure that Justin Fields doesn't keep the ball. But this is 3 weeks in a row that Justin Fields has made crucial plays by doing this same thing, faking an inside handoff in a zone read kind of action, even if it was a designed quarterback keeper, getting the unblocked players to give up their width, come too far inside, getting outside, and getting big gains that lead to huge Steelers plays. The Ravens game, it essentially iced the game. They ended up still needing to get another yard because he slid too early. The Browns game, it sparked a comeback that led to the Steelers actually taking the lead before they ultimately relinquished it. And the Bengals game, he iced the game. So I don't get it. I don't know. But for some reason, teams seem surprised every time this happens. And let's see if it continues later in the season. If Justin Fields is going to keep being able to take the ball on these concepts and get key first downs.